Something ought to be said about that.
Life issues from a biblical perspective. Things that are not normally talked about in church, but things that God definitely has something to say about.
Going through all of those things, it sensitized me, it trained me.
I want to set a biblical context for this conversation. There are a number of scriptures that outline how we should respond.
I knew what I had to do, and it was a natural thing for me.
We're going to talk about ways that the church should be helping. There is a wealth of experience and resources in the church that we don't even realize.
Everybody needs a helping hand. Take a look at your fellow man and tell me, what can I do today?
Oh, let me get that for you.
Everybody needs a helping out. That ain't what it's all about. Tell me what.
Thank you, young man.
What can I
My pleasure.
do? What can I do today?
Courtesy. Pass it on.
I got it.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Supplying what I was supposed to get. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true. It's true. Don't you feel motivated because but the learning part listen to this. It says the learning part is to find out. Yeah, and in addition to that, part of that definition talks about the fact that of the belief that one is inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment. So this person not only feels that they have a right to it, but they believe. They believe this. Yeah. You lost it. You see up this place. And if you don't want it to be dirty, you need to become a solution all the time. You need to have to help people with it. Whether it's a lesson on their hand, you need to. And the kids, even the dad will teach you certain skills so that you become a adult. You need to know how to do this. And you will only learn how to do it by doing it. Right? And number three, the person over your cage is your name. Don't tell us what the kid is. It's a harmonious situation. But that mindset is one of their ways. We believe that, and often, we think that someone owns you. You know, and I believe that I believe in the flow of the spirit. We feel breath out. I don't know if we're very able to access. It's not a good stuff because I was a you know, we got to, because of whatever happens, that's not so much, you know, because I thought the typical students, right, and how we got blows, and the time, the guy said, we all are some guys that you do all things in the house. When I come across the story, you know, what was that famous line from that famous play? Nobody promised me a crystal stair. You know, it's yeah. We end up in a situation somebody to tell us because the crystal stair would be nice. You know. But yeah. I'm not going to let backwards last. I'm going to be thankful for all the ways I'm multiplied. All of the things that God has done, all of the people that you want to do already, to take them to that place of purpose. And that's the thing that if we are not, or we are not grateful, or we are spirit of integrity, we don't recognize the work of others. How we receive others. You know, we work together. Well, we can't even be thankful to the person who got us in the trouble with the boss yesterday because they funded the fact that we were we have an attitude and that attitude still works on today. You know, the mailman delivers the mail and Yes, yes, yes. And you know what? It's funny because the town that I live in, the garbage men, they leave a Christmas card every year. Now, some people might look at it and say, isn't that nice? I know. They're giving you an opportunity to say, gee, how much do you appreciate the fact that I've been picking up your garbage all year? You know what I mean? And how many people actually take the time to put a little something in it? I remember, you know, there was one year, my mother, I used to watch my mother every year put something in there. It might not have been a lot, but if we had 3 people that signed the card, she had something in there so that 3 people would get something. And it was, you know, I mean, there was a point in time when I couldn't, and I gave a card and I said, you know, I really am sorry it's not, you know, as much as I'd like. And the guy was like, thank you for doing something at all. You know, but a lot of people may not understand that. Maybe they didn't have a parent that did that. You know, to think about the fact that, you know, these people come and they're walking every single day in the rain and the snow and everything to take care of your stuff. Did you even say, even if you didn't have anything to put in the card, did you give them a card that said, thank you for doing it? But no, you're a civil servant, so you're supposed to be servicing me. Yeah. Yeah, no, especially when I leave all 5, 6, 8 bags of stuff and you're picking it all up. You know, sometimes I know that the town says no, you're supposed to leave a certain number of bags. But sometimes you come out and say, could you please? And they'll do it. Well, they should be told thank you. So it's like you're saying, now this is the person that's in front of your face every day. If they're not even saying thank you for that, what about God? What about God? Yeah. Yeah. Well, we believe, you know, the bus driver stops you while you're going to the bus. Yeah. Yeah. You know, so we get it. I was like, oh, I mean, really. I mean, it's an attitude. You know, you know, you get all of shit home, and so much of all the stuff you believe, it was so much emotion. Like you're saying with vehicles, how many times have you been in a car where they're just enough, if the car in front of you would move it just enough so you can get in there? There are times when I've gotten out of my car and I'm walking to the person, I said, would you mind moving up a little bit? Oh, you know, and so their face, you know, if they say it, it's like, you know, well, you know what? If you thought about the fact that somebody else could sit behind you, maybe somebody else wouldn't have had to do that. A little more, yeah. When someone lets you into traffic, do you just wave and say thank you? You know, thank you. I know that makes me feel better. I feel like you want and you appreciate it. And that's what you yeah. You know, and when you go back to that, it's just amazing. But our society in whole doesn't really think about others. I was on the news. They were talking about the fact that even I take back to driving again, but there's so much gridlock and traffic because instead of yielding and let people in, folks fight to keep people out. So instead of leaving the spaces in front of you for that car, they you know, and I'm guilty. You know, I'll be right up on the bumper. But it's because I've been in a situation where I've left enough room and people just zoom, and take advantage of it. Nobody else is thinking about letting somebody else in. But what they were saying was that if people would actually do that, dovetail things in, traffic would move smoother. People wouldn't be sitting in traffic for so long because it would be moving. Yeah. I'm like, you go? Yeah. Well, and, you know, so and I do. I never do that. And everybody was like, oh, come on. Yeah. Because everybody moves their car, there are no roads. So why are they talking to them? So you got people who get on roads and know they're trying to get off on the exit, and they get in the occupied because they have one-way circuit. Yeah. And then they get there and they're blocking up a whole lot of people because they can't get over. Now you got the other people in that road who are waiting for an hour. It's like, I've been waiting. I waited my turn. How come you won't wait your turn? No, you just sit there. And so now, they not only got to the better, they got to the next place. Yeah. And then you got the people in the car. I don't want to get to the other way, but they want to wait for a time to get out of their way. So now you got to the other one. I'm like, you got the family. We all know because we are the part of us. But we look at the we don't, they don't call it bad. Like the dog guy, the dog guy, the cat guy. Yeah. Every single time that we got the phone and go out, you know, we don't see the stops. Well, there's a space for them. There's a little place. There's a little space. Sorry. It's what it is. Yeah. That is good. It's when you know what mindset's running the whole world. So you know what the you know that what a person is. On you to get that information. Because you're supposed to. Did you know you're supposed to? You're supposed to. You're supposed to. And so often yeah, and the thing about it is they make you want to run. So, I mean, you know, I feel bad about hiding, but sorry, I can't right now. So, yeah. It's unfortunate because what it does is kind of and how involved you are in the all because you know how you all because you feel so you can talk about it until you get it to God. But before you get there, you have to develop an understanding of what you can be in general. And it'll be a natural progression. Because when you get your knowledge and different, you'll understand that who else is coming for you that is worth saying. When you understand, when you get to understand about reality, with the people, don't say something about it. That's not what I'm talking about. You understand that words that are spoken in seeds that actually go on the kitchen sink. Words that are We're not talking about apple cider at Thanksgiving table. We're talking about something else. The right time. Yeah. 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 Yeah, people are around. Not just our family members, but people that we work with. You know, I mean, I do a lot of things. And one of the things that I had to do was to express my team and see the value in my team. Because every member was you can talk about what you see as well as their self-esteem, because when they're doing something that they know they can do well, they feel good about it, and they'll do better, and they'll feel like they're being a contribution to the whole thing. And you know, when you tell them, "Oh, you did a good job," you know, it builds. You know, I can't overemphasize the importance of giving somebody a compliment for something because they feel good about themselves and want to continue. You know, so it's in terms of building a team, that's like gold. You know, it's much better than coming into a situation where you're constantly being criticized. And after a while, some people be like, "Well, why should I bother trying?" You know, and then you're tearing something down. You know, so you know when you are, yeah, yeah, when you are, yeah, mhm, you are people who mhm, who see things, yeah, that they will realize. If you people know that you appreciate them, you appreciate what they do, God will what they do, it's freeing. Really. Mhm. And what if that was something that happened in just New York every day for a week? It would be a different place. You should do that on Mhm. To see what happens. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we can't do it your heart is not in. Mm-hmm. Hey. Don't please stop it. Mhm.
Thank